Hi. It's a horrible grey Tuesday morning here in Normandy, and I should be getting on with some constructive type of things, but I can't really be bothered. So I thought I would catch up with my good friend Fabien and we could have a bit of a chat and you guys could all listen in. So, hi, Fabien.
Hello, Kat. Don't worry. We probably are both bitter because it's also grey and quite stormy in the southwest of France today. So it was gorgeous up until yesterday. Well, yesterday evening. So
Yeah, well, I don't feel the early week motivation kicking in at all yet. I was hoping for the Monday mojo to hit yesterday, but it hasn't, and it's still Tuesday. But anyway, how was your weekend?
well, actually, fabulous. I was in London the weekend, and well, weirdly enough, it was not raining. It was quite actually gorgeous. Blue sunshine, and so well. It was great, and it's completely random. But I went to we attended an exhibition in London, like a property show, and well, we wanted to indulge. So I because I was with a few of my colleagues, and we booked an hotel nearby. And
Mm-hmm.
again, completely random, but we happened to be in probably the most French hotel in the whole London area, because when I went there, they had like some the books that they leave on the bedside room table. They had I kept one, like the end of Napoleon on it. I was like, this is weird for an hotel in London. What's that? And so in the stairway as well, they had like a lot of ends, and like actually in the entrance, I also had an end. I was like, well, this is weird. So I went to the reception and asked, the lady, is like, what's all with the Napoleon stuff? And she was like, oh, the hotel was built in 18 something, like mid 18, like after Napoleon, though. But some guy, a Frenchman from Paris, but the architect was kind of a relative of Napoleon or something like that. And so he basically wanted to put Napoleon stuff all over the place. And I was like, and you kept it? So apparently they did, and they kept it. So no one's aware of that, probably. Well, obviously
So
it strikes a Frenchman. So
yeah, no, absolutely. So you had a Napoleon themed weekend stay in the centre of London. How
in the central,
bizarre.
yeah, that was completely unexpected. That's
Yes.
the last place I would expect. Although, Napoleon III was much more friendly with the Brits, probably also like reunited the French and the Brits back then, because he did a lot of business with the UK, married a British lady, is actually even buried near London.
Oh, I didn't know that. Whereabout?
Yeah.
Do you know
And he
whereabouts?
was Napoleon's nephew. It's a town's name. Well, off the top of my head, I wouldn't know. I know I cannot pronounce that with my French accent. And it's basically 20, 30 minutes from Gatwick. So let's say less than an hour from London.
Well, south, so presumably south of Gatwick towards the sea.
Yes, exactly. Like southwest, I think. Yeah, something like that.
Mm,
So yeah, worth having a look.
yeah,
But
I'm
yeah.
intrigued. Very intrigued now. I
So
had no
Napoleon's
idea.
nephew is there. That's when he 1970 or something. Basically when he died, he was in exile in the UK. But basically like his empire fell down, and so he was kicked out of France. Well, had to flee France and went to the UK and like died there from kidney stones or something. So yeah.
If anybody is listening and picked up on that, Fabien did actually say 1970, and I'm sure he meant 1870.
Oh, sorry, sorry. Yeah, yeah,
And if
yeah. Because in the
anybody
70s is the 90s, 70s. Yeah, no, you're right.
absolutely 70s seems like only yesterday to some of us, and if anybody listening in does know where exactly Napoleon's nephew is buried, somewhere south of Gatwick Airport, please do let us know because we're very intrigued now. So
But yes, well, basically that was the weekend. Yeah.
all right, so how was the property show?
Surprisingly busy. Well, actually quite busy. Sunday was a bit slow, and I think apparently some of train connections were limited, if not shut down completely, because of some storms or stormy weather forecast. So it probably limited the access to London to some people. But Saturday was packed, and and it shows that there's a massive interest for France still, and various areas of France. Southwest is still the busiest, apparently. But I like the energy, and a lot of nice people, very interested people and conversations we've had. So that was amazing, really. I
Oh,
always
great.
like to kind of highlight the cultural differences. It's like it's always funny. So sometimes the thing that they think they say versus they actually are saying when they speak French. I mean, So.
Yeah, no, sure. And so, talking of cultural differences, I know you took some of your team with you, and whilst your team, some of them are native English speakers, some are French with a very good command of English. What did they make of the famous British food?
Oh, this is a slippery slope you're getting into. Well, should I be honest or?
Absolutely. We're all about the honesty here.
No, I mean, honestly, it's for me, of it, for French pride, we like.
Ça
Yeah, hello.
Here's a real live Frenchman.
It is. So we like to say that it's really bad and stuff. So I think it's much better than it used to be. At least for me. Well, it's not French level for sure, but there's some very good restaurants. I mean, come on, especially in London. But if I'm being honest, we had Italian, well, pretty much anything but British food. So we had French. We went to a French restaurant. We went to an Italian restaurant. So obviously, I cannot say it was bad, but let's say I'm used to the French recipes and cooking. So yeah, so it always tastes better at home. Yeah.
And what did they make of the Great British Breakfast? Or did they wimp out and go for croissant?
I would have. No, the croissants aren't good. The croissants aren't good. That they're probably they've been frozen or they're like reheated or something. It's like no, the pastries aren't good. That's for certain. I didn't have a good pastry. Maybe in some fancy restaurants or something fancy bakeries, but otherwise they're not France level. That's for certain. But for example, I did enjoy. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, eggs Benedict, for example, which might be typically British breakfast. That's quite nice. That's quite nice to have. There's one thing I love with British food.
I love
those are the
surprise.
crumpets. The crumpets. It's like that's one of the British wonders.
Crumpets and muffins. And the other day, I actually got some cheese scones here in France. There is a lady not too far away who has a kind of, well, she's like a kind of, drug dealer, but for pastries and cakes for the expat market. You get on her list and she meets you in a car park and hands over packages of scones. And I went to see a friend who gave me a slab of Christmas cake, which was epic. I mean, I'm not a huge Christmas cake fan, but this was really, really, really good. And she also sent me home with 2 cheese scones out of her freezer, and they were some of the best cheese scones I've ever eaten. So,
really?
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah. Cheese scones, crumpets, muffins, absolutely with you. But I loved the note of surprise in your voice when you said the eggs Benedict were really quite good. That was just so French. Like something British was palatable.
Oh well, there's a place. There's an old place and it was opened in the 80s, late 1800 something, like 1860s, 70s maybe, called the Café Royal. And after the exhibition, we indulged. It's like to kind of cool off. And I thought, well, why not? And there's like this bakery which is apparently there's one Michelin-Star or something. So it was like £20 for the cheesecake. That's quite expensive, but honestly, and I don't really like cheesecakes, but I was like, okay, when in Rome, and again, we wanted to indulge, so that was quite an expensive indulgement, but we tried the so like that Michelin-Stars cheesecake. That was amazing. And I don't like cheesecakes. So maybe the price tag plays a part because it's like, oh, that's expensive. I need to appreciate that. But
Yeah, well, I mean, and also cheesecake is not typically British. I mean, it's an American thing,
Oh,
really.
really?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I thought it was British. Oh, my bad then.
No. But I wish I'd been there now for some. I love cheesecake if it's good. I got really addicted
Because it
to.
looks, that's the kind of recipe where it looked like actually a proper cheese, like the crust. I mean,
Oh yeah,
visually
yeah.
speaking, you could have be fooled. And actually, that was like probably like a millimeter thick layer of caramel, but like designed in a way that it makes you think this is the cheese crust. So,
Why? Why are you telling me this now when I didn't actually make it over at the weekend for cheesecake eating?
yeah, well, next time, you're in London, it's in Piccadilly Circus or near Piccadilly Circus. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, we're actually heading over to London in February, the Frenchman and I, and he wants to do some English high tea type experiences.
Called the place was called Cakes and Bubbles. So,
Cakes and doubles.
and Bubbles.
Oh, cakes and bubbles.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
And Doubles would have been a bit of a weird name.
I don't know. Double gin with your cheesecake. Why
Oh,
not?
yeah. Well,
That's
yeah, you're
very
right.
British.
That would be, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll check that out because we want to do some kind of scones and sandwiches and cakes kind of eating. And so I'm glad you had a nice self-indulgent meal out and ate some good food, and people managed to
Just the cake. I mean, the whole meal, we couldn't afford that. Just the cake.
Yeah, 20 quid for a piece of cake is quite steep, even by British.
Imagine the price of the whole meal then.
Yeah, no, I can't actually. I can't. But on the other hand, if food is good, then sometimes it is really nice to indulge and spend that kind of money, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yes, but then brace yourself for your banker's call. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So property show was good. You met lots of people. We managed to do some good eating and drinking. Team all happy, and then back to storm ravaged France.
Actually, yesterday was sunny. Actually it was rainy in Bordeaux, but when I drove back home, so towards Biarritz, it was actually plain blue and sunny. So.
Well, I thought the house was going to blow away on Sunday evening. I mean, it was just unbelievable here. The wind, just incredible. But I guess that was the tail end of the storm in the UK. And I mean, it's always kind of surprised me that they try and run these property shows at the end of January, because it's not the first time it's been weather affected. I remember years ago, I was doing a seminar there, and it was very funny, actually. Somebody had built it was when the exhibition was still in Olympia, and I can't remember who it was, they'd built a whole Mediterranean villa with an outside terrace.
Wow.
And it was lovely, except they were waiting for their olive trees to arrive for the garden. And on the setup day, the guy was quite hysterical. He was nearly in tears, telling me that his olive trees were stuck in a snowdrift on the M20. I just thought that was just so British as well. Just try and recreate the Mediterranean in London at the end of January. That year, I think it was the biggest, heaviest snowfall in London for decades. Oh. It was lovely. London was all crisp and white and clean and peaceful for a few hours.
But it is probably the worst, immigration wise. It's funny because immigration ramps up, going towards summer. And like May, June, July are definitely the busiest months. So you're right, like having a show run on what's probably one of the slowest month of the year. It's a bit weird, but maybe, I was like, you're depressed because that's, we're in the middle of winter, let's be honest, pretty much all over. You're depressed, and maybe it's like, yeah, okay, it's your mental evasion, maybe, or something.
Yeah, I can see that. It's a kind of day out,
Get away.
Free day out, and people haven't got a lot of cash left at the end of January anyway, because they're in debt from December and Christmas. And the weather can obviously often be a lot worse in February anyway. So I guess it's,
I know, I'm born in January, and so my birthday is always, well, almost always, except last year's,
last year your birthday was amazing.
Well, usually it's always
sunny.
terrible. Yeah, always terrible.
So. Oh, well. Well, the sun is finally coming out here. So I think as we've been chatting for a while now, it's probably time to draw this to a close. And both of us need to go and shift our bourgeois fesses, as they say, get our asses into gear. And I'm speaking the most ridiculous amount of franglais these days, unintentionally.
But that's good. You do that the other way around. That's nice.
Yeah. So it's
oh, a nice anecdote. They had made, like in the hotel, they had made like their own hotel's newspaper, if you'd like, you know. So I thought it was actually a nice idea, as quite creative. But I could see on the front page, the headlines, you know, it's like an article about the hotels opening, like, you know, like 100, 150 years ago, whatever. And there was like, this is the place for the, you know, the writers, the thinkers, you know, it's like they were listing the all, and the, what was that? The bon viveur. But I mean, it's a French mistake. It's the bon vivant.
Of course, yeah.
And it made me laugh because they're using a French sign, but they got it wrong. But yeah, well, apparently I mean, did you understand that? I mean,
yes.
Okay. Oh, okay. So that's an actual expression.
No, I don't know if it's an actual current British expression.
Would a native speaker would understand the expression?
Well, I don't know, because in my family we did say it, but that's because we're all francophiles and francophones and spend all our holidays in France being bon vivants, or even, I suppose, what is a bon viveur? Somebody that lives life to the full.
No, I think it's just a literal translation from good living, or like,
yeah,
you know,
exactly. But
good living would be indeed bon viveur, but it's, you never, I mean, those two words, you never combine those two words in French. If it's bon, it's vivant. It's not viveur.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I'm just thinking that I might start adopting bon viveur, because I have found if I say something often enough to either French or English people, it kind of enters into the linguistic tunnel, if you like, and people will then reiterate this. So maybe
you can fix the mistake. Maybe,
maybe
like 100 years after that.
Yes, I'm a bon viveur. No, not just a bon vivant. I'm a bon viveur. And maybe that encompasses something else as well. Who knows?
Well, you know, the French are quite picky with how you're supposed to speak French. I mean, we can't even you know, determine if it's a chocolatine or pain au chocolat. So, you know, and has been going on. The war has been going on for hundreds of years now. So
I know. It's
usually we have quite strong opinions about how we should be saying things,
especially when it comes to food.
Oh, especially when, yeah. But bon vivant usually refers to food, so
exactly.
Directly,
so it's a serious matter, and we shouldn't even be joking about it, should we?
Not to a chef. I mean, your partners would not appreciate that.
No. He would not see the funny side of this at all, actually.
I love that. Yeah.
Okay, I'd better go. You'd better go. We'd both better do some work and crack on with our weeks. I will catch up with you soon, and maybe next time we can have a chat about French table manners, because that's a hot topic in this household as well. Apparently, there's a lot of things I need to learn.
Looking forward to that, Kat. Have a wonderful
All right,
day.
take care. Bye.
You too. Cheers.
Bye.